So Empress Royalty, we're listed on the TSX-V under the symbol EMPR and on the OTCQX under the symbol EMPYF. We offer you a strategic way to invest in gold and silver. Here are the forward-looking statements. Please have a review of them. They're also on our website. I will be making forward-looking statements throughout the presentation. So, Empress, we are a gold and silver royalty creation company, which means we invest directly into companies, providing them with the financing to either get into production or to expand upon their production capacity. We launched the company 4 years ago. We now currently have 4 revenue-generating investments. We've been forecasting about $6 million of revenue this year. On our Q3 numbers we just put out last week, we're already at $5.4 million US in revenue. Management and team, we have over 250 years experience, completed over $8 billion in mining finance transactions. So we're very much a structured finance team. We're also looking to grow the portfolio out. Again, we launched the company, we had 1 investment, we've layered in now 3 additional producing assets and wanted to continue to expand it out. Our net asset value of the portfolio using current metal prices is about $70 million and our market cap is just $35 million. So we're trading at a 50% of NAV. So the case for gold, I know you guys have been here for a couple of days and heard some amazing speakers, so I won't spend too much time on this, but at Empress, we purely are just gold and silver, which makes us the only pure precious metals royalty company in the market right now. When you look at how royalty companies outperform gold, and the gold miners ETF on the bottom, gold price in the middle, and the gold royalty index on the top. So what are royalties and streams? I'm going to pass over to Nora to give us a chat here.
Yeah, so royalties and streams are really similar instruments, but there's some important differences in a royalty and a stream. The conventional wisdom is really that royalties are good for non-producing assets, but streams are better for near-term producing and producing assets. So a royalty is an agreement where a company provides some upfront capital in exchange for a percentage of revenue from the mine, typically over the life of the mine. Stream agreements are agreements where similarly a company provides some upfront capital in exchange for the right to buy a specified portion of metal production, typically for the life of the mine. You purchase the metals, essentially pre-purchase the metals upfront, and then you pay a high discount to spot. For us, it's typically 20% of spot price. So it's direct leverage to the metals pricing. So that's a quick snapshot. We because we're so revenue focused, we're really looking at streams right now, and there's also a tax arbitrage benefit to streams.
Perfect, thank you. So why did we create Empress? We, again, from seeing the marketplace, streaming companies were doing larger and larger investment size like Wheaton, doing $100 million plus, and no one was providing this financing solution to the junior side of the market. So that's originally why we set it up. And with our expertise, and I'll talk about the team at the moment, that's allowed us to create the company and deliver on these long-term investments. So our investment manager is Endeavour Financial. I'm ex-PricewaterhouseCoopers. I joined Endeavour Financial as an analyst, worked my way up the ranks, become Director of Structure and Finance for 10 years. I was involved in over $1.5 billion of deals. So I teamed back up with Endeavour Financial to help us not only source deals, be able to structure them and execute on them. This allows me to keep my G&A low. We've only got 3 full-time people on the team, but gives me access to their team of geologists, mining engineers, financial analysts to really to structure these deals. And they're also a large shareholder in Empress. So the management team, myself, Nora's here as well, Chris is with us. David Rhodes is our executive chairman, who's the managing director of Endeavour Financial. Jeremy Bond is another large shareholder of ours. He runs the Terra Natural Resource Fund out of Australia. And David Lang is our technical advisor. He was the CEO of Endeavour Mining, of Equinox. He's also the chairman of Fortuna Silver. So moving into our investment criteria of how we invest. We look at the asset stage. We're looking at producers or near-term producers. Again, that is to drive revenue into Empress, which we could then use to reinvest into the portfolio. only gold and silver. And we also have a global focus. Right now we're in Peru, Mexico, Mozambique, and South Africa, and we'll talk more about the portfolio in a minute so you can really understand how we structure these deals and the returns we get as a result. We're mandated up to $25 million. To date, we've been doing sort of $5 to $10 million of investments, but as we grow, we'll kind of fill that full gap doing sort of 10, 15, 20, $25 million deals. Again, as I mentioned, a strong team, and all of our investments have a strong ESG focus. Some of the groups we've invested in have done amazing community work, which is very important to us. So we've got the Talahueto $5 million silver stream on a producing mine in Mexico. We have the Cerro Ancipite gold stream in Peru. We have the Galaxy mine, which we actually just did in March this year, which is a South African producing mine, helping them expand. And then we have the Manako gold royalty in Mozambique. We structured that one as a royalty. It made more sense in Mozambique for tax purposes. But again, with all of our investments, they're security backed. So in most cases, we're first ranking security, or first lien on all the assets in the projects to ensure that they deliver and protect and de-risk it for ourselves and the company. Do you want to talk about Luca first? Thank you.
Sure. So we did a $5 million investment in Luca Mining's Talahueto mine. It's located in Mexico. It is a gold, lead, zinc mine that produces a fair amount of silver. We take 100% of their silver in exchange for, as I said, a $5 million investment. It's exciting times for Luca. They just reached milestone production this year, I think about a month ago,
Yep.
2 months ago. So that will be a great revenue generator for us going forward.
Yeah, and this one's probably about 25-30% of our portfolio, and it's silver, and obviously very excited where silver could be going on this. For the $5 million investment, our annual cash flow is about just over $6 million US. The net asset value in that's about $26 million. They should be at nameplate capacity towards the end this year, and that's also why you'll see the big jump in our revenue when we show the revenue slide shortly as part of that. Do you want to introduce this?
Yeah, sure. So Antipite, this was a $10 million stream for an underground gold mine in Peru. It's owned by the Sierra Sun Group, which is a private company with a lot of projects in Peru, very, very deep connections there. We were able to provide them capital to ramp up operations, and things have been going very well for them since our capital came in. Our annual cash flow is about $4.9 million US. The net asset value is $21 million. And these guys are just great operators in the community, very strong community relations, and have done quite a bit. They've also have an agreement with the Swiss Better Mining something.
The Swiss Better Mining Initiative. So what this means is they teamed them up with a manufacturer in Switzerland. They went through a 4-year audit of what they've done in the communities and how it's working. And so now Audemars Piguet is buying the gold directly from them, paying $10 above spot. And that additional money they're paying is going to a local foundation. They've already done a lot of work with the roads. They're bringing in a better water supply for sort of the outreach communities. So they're amazing, amazing citizens in where they're operating. Then there's the Galaxy Gold Mine, which we just completed in March.
Yeah, so Galaxy is a producing mine. It's actually the oldest producing mine in South Africa. Alex and I were lucky to get a mine tour last February. Very impressive operation. We provided them $5 million to ramp up their mining fleet. They have a beautiful new mill, but what they needed was additional ore. So we provided the capital to buy the equipment, and that production has ramped up since then. So annual cash flow is $2 million, and total NAV on the stream is $14 million. And these are another really great operator who's done quite a bit for the community, and as I said, really deep roots.
Yeah, and they're just starting to get the equipment on site, so they're starting to increase that production. So we're really excited to see where they're going to go next year. And then our fourth revenue-driving asset is Manako in Mozambique. This one's owned by a private group called MMP. We invested when they were a development asset that has gone into production about 1.5 years ago. This was actually a $3 million investment. There's a typo on that one. It's just over a 3% royalty. Annual cash flow is about $1.3 million. NAV in this is 5. They're doing some drill work now, so we expect the oxides to go quite a bit longer, but this has been a successful revenue driver for us for a while. The pipeline. So the pipeline, Nora's on top of this, is Nora's primary role is to find new opportunities to bring them into the portfolio.
Yeah, so I think one thing that's really interesting about Empress is, as Alex said, we're all structured finance people, and we've worked our whole careers in the mining industry. So a key to us sourcing deals is just our relationships that we have with the companies, and those are relationships that build over time. So really most of our deal flow is coming from networks that we've built. We go through a process when we see a new opportunity where we'll screen the opportunity from a desktop standpoint, and if it makes sense, we'll go into a term sheet, and then we'll do technical due diligence and legal due diligence. We always rely on third parties, and I think that's one thing that really sets us apart is the depth of knowledge that we have both in-house and how far we dig into the projects. Because, as I said, we're so focused on cash flow, we really want to know that these assets are going to produce or ramp up production in the near term. And again, targeted focus on revenue-generating assets. This is actually a really exciting time for revenue-generating assets because there are a lot of companies that maybe have been sitting, waiting for metals prices, waiting for the capital markets to turn around, and now's the opportunity. So actively looking for cash. It's also an exciting time for restarts. There are a lot of really great mines that have been on care and maintenance that can be restarted with minimal capital and start producing pretty quickly.
Yeah, we've been able to take advantage of the fact that the equity markets haven't started to reflect the gold price, so there's a lot of opportunity for us to get into these companies at the moment. Revenue on the rise. So here we're starting in 2021. Here we are in 2024, forecasting over $6 million, but we expect that to be higher. Going up to between $12 and $50 million next year, and then continuing on. So we're combined over the next 5 years, there should be about $78 million US in revenue coming into Empress. And as I mentioned, we don't need to grow the team that much further out as we have the investment manager, Endeavour Financial. So we really are to keep our costs low, take this money and reinvest it into the portfolio. We do want to get to a point where we can do a dividend policy, but we obviously want to let the portfolio mature a little bit. We want to bring some new investments, but that is one of the key drivers for the board and discussions we have to be able to get to that point. As I said, we're significantly trading below industry averages here. If you look at the price to net average, net asset value on the far side, we're at a 51% discount. If you look here at the price to cash flow for 2025 compared to the sector as a whole, it's 25 times. Taking in mind some of the larger companies that are in there, even if you put it down to 10 times with the forecasted revenue we have coming in next year, there's a significant potential for a re-rate of our stock.
What do you mean by upside case?
Oh, so try to see what numbers I've used here. So the base case is using $2,500 gold and $30 silver. The upside case is using $3,000 gold and $40 silver. Our shareholder base. We have a very strong supportive shareholder base. 25% is owned by management and board, 35% by key shareholders. Endeavour Financial is a large shareholder, Terra Capital of Australia. We all know Rick Rule. He's been a very supportive shareholder for the last 2 years. Sprott Asset Management, Mira Smirnova, 2 of her funds. Frank Holmes at US Global. Stefan Gleason, who's the 3rd largest bullion trader down here. And obviously Brian London, our amazing host of this conference. We're up over 46% over the last year, slightly a little bit down at the moment, but that's been the general price movement. We have 118 million shares outstanding. Market cap is 35 million. Cash on hand, this is using our September 30th numbers. We've got just over $1 million in cash now. And how we've been funding this portfolio is we've got a $28.5 million debt facility with a private group called Nabari. And it's an accordion-style loan, which means I can draw down portions of it as I need it. So I drew down 3.5 last December to repay the existing debt just after this conference. I drew down 5 to fund the deal we did in South Africa. So now I've got $20 million US available for new opportunities that Nora and I are seeing to further grow the portfolio out. And we've been repaying down the debt facility we have in place too. And again, we all come from a structured finance background, so at the right point in time, again, we'll reduce that debt facility or so we'll replace that debt facility and bring further cost of capital down. Near-term catalysts. You know, as the revenue is starting to come in, that will grow as we are so tied to gold and silver, and people start to understand that our revenue is directly coming from gold and silver. We should be able to grow and bringing new investments into the portfolio similar to what we've done before.